Hi, Callie.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Just a minute. The videographer in me wants to have proper headroom in my webcam. You're fine. I won't judge you.
Okay. Well, I'm like, well, it's kind of offsides, but then I've got the window in the background. Maybe I should close the blinds.
Okay, so I have to admit people here, which is interesting. Okay, here we go. Hi, everybody. We'll get started in a few minutes. Chastity, okay. Jan Davis. Jody Zachary. So I'm using the waiting room to admit people because there have been a number of cases of Zoom bombing. I don't know if y'all have read about it, but Zoom bombing is basically when somebody hijacks a Zoom meeting and they start putting up inappropriate pictures or various things like that. And so we're using a waiting room to try and prevent that. Although this invitation didn't go out on the interwebs anywhere except for through an email from Callie. So the chances of that happening are pretty slim even without the Zoom waiting room. But we'll use it anyway. I'm going to add a poll. Okay. Wonder who visual media is. I'm going to admit visual media guest. Hopefully they won't Zoom bomb us. Okay. All right, so let's. All right, I just launched a poll. So go ahead and answer the poll if you're willing. Laura Seaton, okay. Oh, good, everybody's calm so far, or something else. We have a brave group of folks here. That's good news. All right, we'll let this go for 10 more seconds. I think everybody's answered though. Okay, so the consensus is we are calm, overwhelmed, or something else. But calm is the biggest consensus. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, go talk to one of these calm people, and maybe they can give you some courage. All right, let Andrea in. So we'll get started formally in just a couple of minutes. But one thing I do want to say is to go ahead and open the Zoom chat. If you open the Zoom chat, Callie is going to share a number of resources that you'll need for this meeting. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do another poll real quick. Let's see. Right. This is just some information. If you could let me know if you have downloaded Respondus 4.0. If you have not, Callie might be able to put the link in the group chat as well. Oh, good, most of you have. So this is going to be as hands-on of a training as we can make it. We're actually going to walk you through the steps of taking a question bank or a test or an exam or a quiz from a faculty member and then putting it into Respondus. And so if you have not downloaded it and installed it yet, that might be a good thing to do in the first couple of minutes. It shouldn't take you too long. Callie sent an email a little while ago with the link to do that. So Callie, if you wouldn't mind maybe putting that in the group chat as well. I don't know how easy that is. Oh, she's still uploading resources too, so that's good. Right, so we've got a good group of folks. Let me get everyone to chime in just real quickly. If you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself when I call your name, just to make sure that we can hear each other if you have questions or anything like that. Let's start with A. Jensen.
Yes.
Great. How are you, Andrea? Chastity Guest.
Yes.
Great. D. Snook Guest.
Hello, David.
Hi. Let's see. Kay Well Guest.
I'm here.
Did I say your name correctly?
Kate Whale.
Whale. Okay, great. Jody Zachary Guest. So if you have a guest account, that means you haven't signed in with the Hardin Simmons enterprise account yet, which is not a bad thing. But that would authenticate you for various other things. So Jody, are you there?
I'm here.
Great. Serena Fairchilds.
I'm here.
Great. John Davis. He may have stepped out for a minute. Joanne Roberts.
I'm here.
Great. Let's see. Laura Seaton.
I'm here.
Super. Regina Wheat.
Good morning.
Good morning. Shannon Maynard.
Hello.
Hi, Shannon. S.R. Falks.
Good morning. It's Renee.
Oh, great. Good to see you, Renee. Or hear from you, at least.
Yes.
Let's see. Who else do we have here? I'm going to guess that's Sandy Self.
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. And Tessa Wilson.
I'm here.
Super. All right. That was also a stalling tactic so that Callie could get everything posted into the chat. So go ahead and download the things that she put into the group chat. You'll see there is a PDF of a user guide for Respondus in Canvas, a Respondus 4.0 quick start guide, You won't necessarily need those for this training, but they'll be good to have on hand for whenever you are working in Respondus. Also, the Respondus exam formatting, and that is probably the most important piece for all of you, because the formatting is what you're going to be sharing with faculty members who are creating the exams that they want and the question banks that they want put into Canvas. There's also a Respondus 4 training, that is today's agenda, and a exam bank example. You want to go ahead and be sure to download that as well. That is a short question bank that I made just for use for this training. Oh, end that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So today what we're going to do is we are going to I'm going to demonstrate the steps and just let you watch. And if you have Respondus open, you have a couple of monitors, you want to follow along and do the same things, perfect. That would be great. You can interrupt with questions if you have one you think is going to help everybody. If I miss something, which believe it or I do make mistakes at times. So if I miss something and something doesn't make sense, feel free to interrupt. Otherwise, questions can go to the group chat. Callie's going to be watching that. So that we can all keep in communication, and you can either do a chat message to everyone, or you can do a chat message to an individual. So you could message Callie or me individually as well, or anybody really. If you're going to make fun of me in any way, please do that on an individual basis and not in the group chat. Actually, go ahead and put it in the group chat. That's more fun for everybody. All right, so let's go ahead and open up Respondus browser. Let me go ahead and, oh, not that one. I want this one. I'm going to share my screen with you. And Respondus is a Respondus 4.0, not to be confused with Respondus Lockdown Browser, which is another product, or Respondus Monitor, which is another product. Respondus 4.0 is something that is primarily based for creating quizzes and question banks and those types of things. So we're going to start by choosing a personality, and the personality we want to use is LMSQTI. Or it might be IMSQTI, it's hard to tell. It is all caps, so it's probably I. So you choose your personality. Now if you look, Canvas is also an option. However, whenever you are uploading a question bank for somebody else, you won't have access to their Canvas courses unless you are an instructor in that course, and it would be listed in your course dashboard. So what you're going to be doing, and what I always do because I'm not an instructor in most of these courses, is the IMSQTI. That doesn't have to mean anything to you. It's just a special type of code. All right, and then the next thing we do is import questions. Now we get this window that comes up, and this window is going to, let's see what's happening there. Okay, we're good. This window is where you're going to start some of the settings that you want to set up. So the type of file we're going to import is actually not QTI. We don't have a QTI file. What we probably have is a Word document or something similar. So I'm going to choose Microsoft Word 2007 docx. Any faculty member who has prepared a document using Microsoft Word, we're Microsoft Campus, and so that's what it's going to be saved as, is the docx. Then, of course, they would have sent that to you, and so I'm going to browse my computer to find it. And I have it. I have a number of them here. I've been doing this for a number of faculty members already, as you can see. But the one that I want is not on the desktop. It is here, QM Exam Bank Example. And you also have this file. So if you're following along, go ahead and choose that one. All right, so that's number one on import questions. Number two, choose where to add the questions. So I can append the questions to the current document, but what I really want to do is create a new document. So if I get 3 different banks that are all going to go into one bank in Canvas, then that's when I would append the questions to a current document. But in this case, we're going to create a new document. You can call it whatever makes sense for the exam that you're making, of course. Type of file to create is going to be an exam. You don't need to use the stem plus question numbers because really those numbers aren't going to matter at all once we get it into Canvas. All right, and now I'm going to preview to check for problems. And we have the hourglass, we're waiting. Okay, so I see here all the questions. Question titles are there. It usually just takes the first few words of the question. And I can see that there are 10 questions and there are no warnings. You're almost never going to have no warnings because the formatting is very, very specific. And we'll take a look at that in a moment. But the formatting document that we shared as a PDF has all the instructions that faculty members are going to need to follow when they are creating these test banks. So press the finish button to complete the process. It's kind of deceiving because we're not actually finished yet. We're just finished with this import. Okay, file saved. And now I am not on the start tab, I'm on the edit tab. And so if there is a problem, I could go into one of the questions. And let's say this question here has a problem. So I could choose the arrow, edit, and make edits to that as necessary. For instance, if the correct answer hadn't been chosen and I know what the correct answer is, then I would go ahead and choose it here. However, if you're doing this for a faculty member, of course you're not expected to know all the correct answers. That's why the faculty members will have to do the formatting very, very specifically so that you don't have to deal with any kind of problems, hopefully. All right, so we're looking at edit. Next thing we're going to do is look at settings. Settings are not available in the IMS QTI personality. So that's all I wanted to show you. That little message, you don't have to worry about settings. So go ahead and go over here now to preview and publish. We don't have a whole lot of options, but we see over on the left, preview, save QTI XML file. That's the final step essentially. And then print options. You won't need to do anything with printing. But what we want to do first though is preview the file. And so here we're going to see what the questions are. Here we see the question options and then below that, the question answers. So it's a good idea to take a look at each one just to see if there are any glaring problems. And at some point, after you've done this a few times, you'll know what those glaring problems might be. In the meantime, it's a good idea to go ahead and click through each of them just to check. Especially if it's a small bank. If it's a 200 question bank, then you might not want to click through all of them, and that's completely understandable. So there are no changes to make here. And so I will close. And the next step is to save QTI XML file. Select preferences, points as percentages is fine. And then the actual file format, you see we have a QTI XML file, and then we have a QTI XML zip file. That's the one you want to use because that's what we're going to upload into Canvas. So I will save as. I'll put it in a place where I will be able to find it, which for me is usually my desktop. And you can see I have a few other question banks that are already here as zip files that I have created for other courses. So this one I've titled Another Question Bank. Save. And it gives me a little warning. Some learning management systems cannot properly import packages with spaces in the file name. That shouldn't be a problem. Okay, it's been saved. Now, I'm going to go into Canvas. And so I believe all the Dean's Assistants and all of you on this call have access to courses that you can use. So I'm going to go into this temp course for demo. And go into modules. Find a quiz. Here's the quiz maybe that I'm looking for. No, that's not the one actually. That already has questions on it. We'll come down here to the 3rd week quiz. Edit. And you know what? I actually just realized I made a wrong step. Nothing's broken, of course, but what I need to do is come to settings. So I'm in the correct course, but I need to go to the course settings because that's where I'm going to import the quiz. So from here, I see there are course details. There are a number of tabs across the top. The course is unpublished currently. And now over here on the right, I have a number of different options that I can use. The one that I want to use for this is import course content. Up here I have a drop-down menu, content type, and what I want to choose is, where did it go? QTI zip file. Now it wants me to choose that file. I saved it on my desktop, so I'd be sure I knew where to find it. Another question bank, there we go. And now, once I've selected that, I have to tell it what question bank to go into. Do I want it to go into an existing question bank? Am I adding to, or am I making a new one? In this case, I'll make a new one. Of course, when you're naming it in the course, you probably want to give it a more specific name so that the faculty member can identify which one is the right one. And I will import. Now here I see the current jobs. QTI is the one that another question bank.zip is what we're looking at, and it is queued. So it's not done yet, it's queued, it's still importing. Now it's running. So much time is spent waiting on blue lines, right? Now we're completed, great. Now what I can do is come to quizzes. And from the quizzes menu, I see all the quizzes here. And right over here, next to plus quiz or add quiz, there are 3 dots with one option, manage question banks. That's where I want to go next. Here I see there's the one that I just uploaded, another question bank. If I click on it, I will see here are all the questions all ready for implementing into a quiz. And so if I could now go over to modules and I choose a quiz to import this question bank into, I edit the quiz, click questions up at the top to add the questions, and I'm going to add a new question group. I might give it a name. And I'm going to link it to a question bank. This is the important step because now I can find, here's my question bank. I see other ones from other courses as well that I am a faculty member of. You might not see this if you're doing this step for a faculty member. I select that bank, it's in this course. And now I'm going to tell it how many of those questions to choose. So there are 10 questions in there, but I don't want every student to get the same questions in the same order. So I'm going to tell it to pick 8 of those questions. And I can make it worth however many points I want. So I'll say it's 10 points per question and create that group. And here it is. So now we have a group. And if I come back over here to save, now I can also preview the quiz. And here's the instructions that faculty members should put in for their quiz. And now I can see that here are all the questions. Okay, so let's leave the preview, go back home on this course. And so now at this point, either you would have added the quiz for the faculty member, or you might have stopped at simply uploading it into the Canvas course. And at that point, that's when you want to tell the faculty member or whoever you've created this quiz for that the question bank is available and it's ready to go. So that's the next step there. So you've seen it once. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. What I'd like for you all to do now is to go ahead and you're going to do it yourself. So you have the question bank. If you don't have it, it's up in the chat here. If you look up in the chat up above some of the comments, there's a QM exam bank sample or example. And so you can go ahead and download that, and you're going to go ahead and upload it into a course. Maybe you have a sandbox course. Maybe you have a professor who won't get upset if you upload a question bank into their course. You want to be careful about that, of course. But go ahead and work on uploading it into one of the courses. So you're going to go through Respondus 4.0 and then get it to the point where it's uploaded into a course.
How do you get them to download?
From the chat?
Yes.
Good question. If you click on it, so I see that this one has, I just clicked on the question bank example and it opened up in the Microsoft Word online app. And so there's a button here that says open in the desktop app, and I'm going to click on that and save it.
Nothing happens when I click on one at all.
Interesting. Can you share your screen? I think I can make it so you can share your screen. Yeah, you should be able to share your screen to me, and let's see what you're looking at. This is a chance for you all, just like what she's doing. Okay, so
How do I get back to the chat?
go down to Zoom. Down at the bottom of your screen. There you go. So open that up.
That didn't work.
So when you saw the attachment in the chat, did you click it or double click it?
Both.
Okay. But you can see, let's see if I can.
I can see all the entries. They just aren't active.
Interesting. Is anyone else having that problem? So it looks like this, is that correct?
Yes,
And when you click on it, nothing happens.
right.
No one else is having that problem, so I don't know why that would be.
Well, if they're in an email, I can get them there.
Callie, could you email that to her? Maybe that'll help.
Yep, I'll just forward the email you sent me.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, has anyone gotten the QTI zip file made yet? Nobody's jumping in to say yes. Where are we so far? Since I can't see your screens, I'm not sure exactly what you're doing. All right, I'll pick on you. Serena, what step are you at?
I'm actually just viewing it today. I'm going to have to go back and try it. I'm having problems getting the Respondus opened up,
Okay.
and I'm working from home, so it's
Ah,
just some errors I've received on it. So I'll go back and have to try it later.
okay, the help desk may be able to help on that too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Tessa, what about you?
Same here. I have to download the app and do that. So, but I have everything saved and I should be able to do it. It shouldn't be a problem.
Great. Does it look pretty straightforward to y'all?
It does to me, yes.
Yes.
Good. It really is a fairly easy tool. So let's go ahead and one more thing I want to take a look at is actually the formatting. Why did it open there? That's weird. The formatting document. So I'm going to open that up and share that with you just to kind of go over some of the different things that you're going to be looking at. And that's not it. Aha. Here we go. All right, so the formatting guidelines for the Respondus 4.0 exam converter. So here are the things that faculty or whoever's creating the test bank really need to be aware of. One is that each question must begin with a question number followed by a period or a parentheses. It doesn't matter which, but just it would be number 3, parentheses, space. I usually do a period because it's fewer buttons to hit. Honestly, I'm lazy. But there's one space. So we have the number, the period, and then one space, and then the question. There can't be any you have to kind of undo or fight with Microsoft Word's automatic formatting because it sees, oh, you're making a numbered list. Let me go ahead and add some formatting to it. And you just have to undo that and get rid of all of the formatting added by Microsoft Word so that there's simply a number, a period, and one space before the question. Then the answers are going to be A through Z for a multiple choice. And so a multiple choice is going to be, again, the option, period, one space. And you have to get rid of any formatting that Microsoft Word has there because that's going to mess up everything with Respondus because, well, yeah, it just does. I don't understand why or how it works. I just know it doesn't work whenever you have the automatic formatting. Okay, so here are the optional elements. So for a multiple choice, here's how the question is going to look. And you can add titles to the questions. It's really not necessary, and I wouldn't make a big deal about it. To mark the correct answer, you add an asterisk in front of the letter of the correct answer. Just an asterisk, that's a fun word to say, right? That's all there is to it. And nothing else, no added highlights or anything else. It's just the asterisk. You could add feedback or to the questions. I think that's a little better to do in Canvas myself, but you can add the tilde and then a space, and yeah, it's so that's not a bad thing to do. It's a little more work, but again, the absolute proper formatting must be used. I'll scroll down a bit because there are instructions for each type of question. So essay questions, for true false questions, it has to be A, true, or B, false. You can't just put true or false. It has to have the letters and the period. All right, fill in the blank questions. You can have a number of different options, but again, we're still using A, B, C for the answer key. And then those are, for a fill in the blank, these are probably all possible correct answers, including maybe misspellings of the name that are close, but that's almost impossible to get all the types of ways to misspell. Okay, matching questions. With a matching question, you have to write in type MT for matching, and then a title if you have a title, the number, and then the options. And the proper option, so Einstein equals theory of relativity, we're matching those, so that tells it what the matches are. Multiple response questions, I actually added a couple to the example that I gave you. You put a star by each of them, but you have to put type MR so that it knows, again, that this is a matching response, or multiple response. I'm sorry, not matching, multiple response. And there are other instructions down here, but that's the basic types of questions that you can do. First column, I don't even do that. So you can also, you don't have to add the answer asterisk in the context of the question. You can add an answer key at the end. I find that to be a little clumsier in formatting for myself. So I don't prefer to do it that way, but if a faculty member does that, again, just make sure that they follow the format in these guidelines. That is the key for you. Your job to upload it to. Did y'all see that? Was that actually sharing?
Yes, it was.
Okay, good. Thank you. I just, when I minimized it, it said something about screen sharing was paused, and I wanted to make sure that I had been sharing the whole time. So the main task for y'all, the way that you can really help the faculty members to deliver good online quizzes for their students is going to be by going through the process of using Respondus. Now, they could probably do it themselves. I'm sure they can, but here's a way that we can help our faculty to be able to do all the important stuff they do with the students. And it just takes a little bit of work for you, but it could feel like a lot of work for the faculty members. And so hopefully this is a way that you can be of assistance to them and supporting them in this time. And as we move forward, I imagine a lot more of our faculty are going to get more comfortable with their online tools. And so that's a way that we can help. So what questions do we have that I haven't seen yet or haven't responded to?
I'm wondering if faculty has been given these documents so that or training so that they know how to do it.
They do not. Some do. Now, if they've communicated with me about doing this, then I have given them the document. I have given them the instructions. And for some, I've actually gone back and forth with them 3 or 4 times saying, nope, it's not quite formatted correctly. Can you reformat it?
Right.
And that might be something that y'all do as well, is to do the formatting for them. I don't know what level of involvement. Yeah, sorry about the yard work. They just rolled by my window in a rolling trash can. It looked like, I'm not sure. But yeah, you and your department heads and deans will decide what level of involvement you might have with using Respondus. You know, some faculty members are in this training, and so they might just do it all themselves. They might outsource it to y'all. But the key is just to kind of have a standard for your your school or your department about what level of involvement you would have for using Respondus. What
Thank
other
you.
questions? Yeah, good. I'm glad that answered your question because I think I just went off on a rant.
Oh, David, by the way, there are some of these resources for Respondus in the faculty and staff resources course in Canvas.
Perfect. Very good. And all the faculty and staff should have access to that course in Canvas. Good. Any other questions? Okay, well, if you run into a problem with installing Respondus, the help desk is the proper place to call for that. If you have questions about using Respondus, I'm happy to walk through you, and Callie might feel like an expert at the end of this too, so she might be able to help too. So, you know, we want to help you succeed. That's our goal, is to help you all succeed, to help faculty succeed, so that our students can succeed. So if you have any other questions, hit me up later, and otherwise we'll go ahead and end this meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.